Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos. The reason why I'm doing this video is because GGG actually broke their silence and they gave us a content update timeline, which is basically an announcement for the announcement of the announcement for the big announcement of the league. So let's go and see what they actually said here. And I do have a few things that I want to talk about, as well as some predictions and some things that we know that are coming for sure. So GGG last night, actually, they said this. We are now in the third month of the rise of the Abyssal League in Path of Exile 2, and you may be wondering when to expect the next big release. We're still on track with our 4-month release schedule and are currently planning to launch the 0.4 content update in early December. We will reveal the live stream and release date very soon, so keep an eye on the news. They also said the ongoing rise of the Abyssal League will end in a few weeks. After that, your characters and their items will be migrated to the standard or hardcore early access league. There will be no wipe, so once migration is completed, you can play your characters in the standard hardcore early access league. We cannot wait to show you what we've been working on, so stay tuned. So the most important thing here is A, they are consistent with the 4-month release schedule, so we're not getting any delays. This message could have been postponed and just telling us that there's going to be a delay, but no, they are consistent, they are on point, which means that we're getting 0.4 early December. They usually release leagues on a Friday, right? So it could be 5th of December, it could be 12th of December. I don't think it's going to be 19th or 26th or anything like that, because that's not going to give them enough time to go for holidays, release the league, be there on standby in case we need anything or they need to fix stuff. So I do believe it's going to be one of these 2 days, and by it still could be 5th. I really hope it's going to be super early December 5th, which means that next week, so now we've got 11th of November, Tuesday. By next week, by the end of next week, by the 21st of November, I am speculating that they're going to actually announce the date, announce the live stream, all that stuff. And then 28th, we're going to have the live stream where they talk about it, the patch notes, all that good stuff. And then by the 5th, we're going to get the release, which is going to give them around 2 weeks for them to stay around and fix stuff in case we have anything that needs fixing before they go to their Christmas holidays. That makes absolute sense to me. Also, it makes sense if they actually release the live stream on the 5th and the actual release of 0.4 on the 12th as well. That would work. Now, what I wanted to actually talk to you about, and I wanted your opinion as well, it's about that time of the pre-league and everything where we can discuss about what we think is coming, what we know is coming. So number one thing that is 99% guaranteed is we're getting a brand new class, right? They talked about the Druid that is like 90% done whenever 0.3 was out. So now Druid is going to be dropping, which means we're getting a new class. If we're getting a new class, that means that we're getting new weapon for that class. If you go over to the abilities and the weapons in POE2, you're going to see something called Primal, which is the Druid, which most probably the weapon is going to be Claws, which also means that we're going to have a whole shakeup and balance changes and everything within the meta that we currently have. Because if you remember 0.2, Huntress was out. Huntress started getting the #1 spot with Lightning Spear with their new weapon that they came out with, the Spear. I'm expecting Druid to be a big deal, not only the hype, but then in the meta as well. And we're also getting a new passive tree. I mean, we're going to have a new direction in the passive tree because the Druid is here. And I'm assuming at least 2 ascendancies for the Druid, which is very, very hype. Next, the endgame is a big deal for 0.4 because if you remember the past couple of interviews, they said that they will focus on the end game in 0.4 as much as they can. We might see changes to the mechanics, towers, tablets, waystones, juicing, all that stuff. They do know that we have an issue with how much time it needs for us to juice the maps, so we might see a big change over there. Potentially new bosses like pinnacle bosses, new systems, new mechanics, new currency. And speaking of currency, by the way, I'm going to jump a little bit here over my bullet points, and I believe that we're going to see big changes on crafting as well, because in 0.2, GGG's interview, whenever 0.2 dropped, they said that every single league from now on. They're going to be changing crafting. They're going to be adding more and more things to crafting. So I'm expecting the crafting is going to see some good changes. Now, third trial is 90% confirmed. I think I just put this number there to be like modest, but I think it's 99% confirmed. They spoke about Hinakora's trial and the Hall of the Dead, I believe it was called, which will finalize Act 4. That's the last piece of the puzzle in Act 4, which is going to complete the entire act, where we do have the area there and it's completely empty. Somewhere there, the third trial should be, and it's I think we're going to see it in point 4, which is very, very exciting. I don't know if this is confirmed, but personally, I'm speculating, and that's going to be my prediction, is that interludes are temporary. We know that already. So point 4, if they had Druid almost done, if they knew what they wanted to do with the end game, and the majority of the point 4 league is going to be focused on the end game, and they had everything else almost done, then Act 5 probably is almost done as well. So I do expect to see the interludes getting wiped away from the game and replacing the interludes with Act 5, which would be super cool. There's no confirmation, by the way, for that, but I would love to see that. Then we've got a new league, obviously, since point 3. Point 3 was the first official league of Path of Exile 2 with the Abyssals, which was really, really cool. I think it changed the game for the better. We got new crafting system out of it. We had a lot of fun with the mechanics that were overtuned. They fixed them. So now they're really cool to chase even in the campaign when you're leveling. In the end game as well, it's pretty nice. There's new mechanics that you can go with the overrun. Desecrated mods are so cool as well. So I think that set the standards of the new leagues pretty high. So I'm expecting that point 4's league is going to be even better. Yeah, it's definitely going to shape the future of the game if they're going to bring something equally as good as the Abyssals. And speaking of Abyssals, I really want to see them keeping them in the game, maybe minimizing them with how often we see them in the campaign and in the end game. They can be converted as an actual mechanic where you can choose to focus that, which means that they need to have their own tablets. And I would love to see the Well of Souls being taken away and having the dude in our hideout who can craft everything for us. That would be pretty cool. I definitely don't want to see the entire Abyssal mechanic just wiped off the game. That's going to be pretty sad and pretty bad. But yeah, Abyssal should stay in. Performance issues is a big one. I really, really hope that they come out with some kind of answers that they did, like pretty significant answers. I'm not talking about fixing a couple of crashes or discussing with us that they have a new team working around and video and all that stuff. I want to hear that, yes, we spoke with them video, we found the solution, and all is done now. With point 4, we should minimize 80% of crashes, 80% of stutters, 80% of FPS issues. That's what I want to hear. I really hope that's that. And that's my final point here is, could this be the final EA Early Access League before the actual release of the game, 1.0? Is point 4 going to be the last one, or are we going to see a point 5 in 2026? What do you guys think about that? But that's basically it. I wanted a quick and simple video talking about what they just said and they announced. So we're very, very close to it, which is super exciting. And I think point 4 is going to be an insanely good league. What do you guys think? What are your predictions? What is the one thing that is not guaranteed, like Druid class and endgame changes and stuff like that, that you would love to see in point 4? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, anytime that there's news, I'm going to create a video as always. And yeah, that's basically it. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We're getting to point 4 very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.